On this episode of Fly Fishing Unfiltered, we cover how to tie the riffle hitch, what it is, and when to use it when fly fishing for steelhead. Hey everyone, welcome to another Fly Fishing Unfiltered, and today we're coming back at you with a smaller steelhead syndicate, but the steelhead syndicate nonetheless. We've been having a great time putting together these videos, getting a lot of questions coming back to us, and one of those questions is, what is a riffle hitch? Why do we use a riffle hitch? How do you use a riffle hitch? And so we want to answer these questions as they come in, because Fly Fishing Unfiltered is all about you. It's all about making fly fishing more fun, easier to understand, and accessible to all. And so Spencer, I love steelhead, and I know sometimes I rag on steelhead, but I truly do love steelhead. Skating flies for steelhead is not in my strong suit. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what a riffle hitch is and what we're doing with it?
Absolutely. So nowadays we have a lot of skating flies that are built on foam. Riffle hitch has kind of been a lost art because of this.
Okay.
Most commonly done with like a wet fly with a deer hair head, like these mother minnows. It's a very popular fly to do this with. The deer hair head can get waterlogged, as a lot of us know.
Yeah.
So what we do is we create this little half hitch by creating like a little overhand loop in our line, and we just kind of ride that over the head of the fly. And we'll get a close-up to show these folks what it looks like. But essentially what it does is it helps combat these wet flies from getting waterlogged and sinking.
Okay.
We keep them oriented towards the top. The line pulls from behind the head of the fly, and that'll allow it to skate through those riffles a lot more effectively, creating a stronger V-wake for those aggressive fish to track and potentially rise those steelhead to the top. So
skate or die. Are we trying to essentially we're trying to make a little more noise when there is, skating flies, when it's on glass is a whole different thing. But if we know that steelhead like a little bit of diamond chop, and we're just trying to make a little more noise coming through that chop.
That's correct.
Through it, right?
That is correct.
Gotcha.
A lot of the time those fish move into those riffles, as we've seen, or tailouts where the sun comes up, right? And that's going to be a little harder to fish for. And some of us really enjoy the pursuit of rising the steelhead.
Absolutely.
So those rivers, the North Umpqua and the Deschutes, they're known for this.
Yeah.
And so this riffle hitch allows us to fish these flies more effectively, longer through those choppier water, and create more of a visual preference or a visual reference of that fly for those fish to come and track. Yeah, absolutely.
That makes total sense. Just so the viewers will understand, we're fishing this most often on a Scandi line. Is that correct?
That's correct, you guys. Scandi line off your spay rod or single hand line off your single hand rod. Floating line is totally fine, either or, but it is more of a floating top of the water column presentation.
I mean, it is going to be somewhat slightly below the surface at times because those do get a little waterlogged, but that's the whole point of this riffle hitch, is to elevate that fly back up.
Correct. And if you think about, it's not necessarily an emerger, but think away of an emerger sits, right? The top part of the emerger is floating, the ass end is down, right? Similar aspect. We're kind of putting that hook down, and then that top head's skating across. So you're literally pulling the fly kind of like halfway out, halfway in, and it creates a very rough V-shaped wake, and it's just really cool.
And same type of presentation in terms of the leader. We're about 3 foot of leader coming off from the Scandi line.
Yeah, exactly, David. So when we're fishing off of those Scandi lines, we usually have a poly leader. So 3 feet, 4 feet of tippet onto the end of that poly leader works great.
All right.
If you're gonna fish like a mono leader, we have those 12-foot long salmon steelhead leaders at the shop. Those work really good too, you guys. Single hand or spay, Great. But yeah, essentially it's a floating line, long leader with a floating fly.
Okay.
Cool. So are there times that you would rig it a certain way to kick it a different way, either up or down or to
side to
each
side?
Yeah, so that's a very good question, Zach. And there are some guys that are really into the riffle hitch, and they do have specifics like that, where they have maybe off to the left of the fly if they're swinging on a certain side of the river, or off the right side of the fly. Based off their presentation, that's a thing for sure. And so if you want to get into that on your own time, feel free to play with the angles of the riffle hitch. But long story short, they do the same thing. Right? You're just orienting the head more upward. Yeah, cool. It's a great question.
Excellent. Well, I think next will be for us to zoom in on this and get a good look of how to rig this up. So let's go ahead and fast forward to that now.
Let's do it.
Well, thanks a lot, Spencer and Zach, for breaking down the riffle hitch. Really appreciate that. I know this is going to answer some questions that we had from our last Steelhead Syndicate video. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching this episode of Fly Fishing Unfiltered, where our goal is always to make fly fishing more fun, to make it easier to understand and more accessible to all. And make sure that you hit that subscribe button. We've got a ton more videos. We got another video coming out on Sea Run Cutthroat. This weather that we have right now is going to be moving those fish. Steelhead are in the rivers. We got some pretty amazing fishing going on right now. So make sure, again, that you keep tuning in to Fly Fishing Unfiltered. And we'll see you on the next one.